Hi, everyone. I'm here with Coach Rob and Miss Corine. We're here to keep talking about time management, which is really important. And the more that we're working with the kids, the more we're realizing that it's a struggle for everyone. We're all a work in progress. Miss Corine has been gracious enough to share with us some of her experiences because she's a super student already. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Coach Rob and Miss Corine.
Thank you, Connie, and welcome, Ms. Corine. I'm so glad that you came on board to share our time. Just so everybody knows that I just decided to ask Corine a few questions off the cuff. She really doesn't know what I'm going to ask, but we're really trying to pick her brain for what she does well for herself. This is not so much to teach anybody, but to share exactly what Ms. Corine does so well for herself. How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you. Brent, if I was to ask you to explain it in generalized words, how would you describe or explain time management? Because it's a big thing. We know everyone talks about it, but how would you explain that?
I think time management is being able to create a balance with all of the work that you need to do, like spacing it out rather than cramming it all into one time to finish like an assignment.
So it is, from what I hear you saying, I know we've talked about this, time management is really managing your life. It helps you really put things into perspective and more in control.
Mm-hmm.
What is the real value of time management? And you give me some points, some key points that you feel, some of the benefits that these young adults can relate to.
I think the first and most obvious benefit is that I'm less stressed out, especially I'm one of those people where it's if I don't do my work, it's constantly hanging over my head and I constantly think about it. And I think that affects how much like fun I can have on my free time, especially if I go out and I know I should have done homework. Instead of having fun, I'll just think, oh, I should have done that homework. Whereas if I go out and I know I did my homework, to me, it feels more like a reward. I'm like, oh, I'm rewarding myself for finishing everything on time. And also, I just feel more accomplished and like better about myself. And I feel good that I was able to do it on my own.
Excellent. And I think if I'm hearing you correctly, you did say that if even if you have your own time and you know that you haven't done this, if I can use the word, it kind of follows you around. That I still haven't done this and it weighs on us. And what effect does it have on you besides the stress and anxiety? What does it affect? How does it affect your self-talk? There's a big thing about self-talk. When we start talking to ourselves, how does that create in your mind?
I think I don't feel as good about myself because especially when I'm cramming and then I don't hand in something that's like the best work possible, it affects like my self-esteem and I'm like, oh, I could have done better, but I didn't. And then I feel I'm kind of like down on myself and I feel disappointed that I didn't do better, even when it was in my control that I could have done better.
Right. And I always use the word, and bear with me, about integrity. When we try to keep our word, when we tell somebody something or we promise something, somebody, most people say, I try to keep my word, I'm good at my word. But what I find a lot that affects self-confidence, especially with young adults, is the self-integrity. So is that tying with what you're saying, that if I said to myself, I'm going to get this done and I get this done, when I said I would, I feel good?
Mm-hmm. Especially like along the lines of like integrity, like my work ethic and my integrity of my work, like handing in something that's like the best quality is really important to me.
Right. And you had mentioned that in our previous conversation. I thought that was outstanding. So I wanted to stay with that just another second. You did say about knowing you've given your best, and when you know it's not your best, it affects you as well.
Mm-hmm.
So time management really allows you, if I may, to really focus and do the best you can. But when you're under the gun, if I'm hearing you correctly, and you're cramming, it's not going to be the best. And then you're not going to feel the best about it.
Yeah. And like along the same lines, I know when I hand it in, I feel bad for my teacher, because handing in poor work like reflects on you as a student. Like by the same token, like handing in good work reflects on you as a student, and I always want to be able to turn in something that I'm like proud of.
Hmm. And to your point, and I know a couple of teachers within my family, how they feel when students do well. It's a pride for them that they're doing the job correctly. So it has a positive impact on the teacher as well.
Mm-hmm.
Excellently said. Thank you. So what techniques or what tools specifically do you use for yourself that these young adults here can relate to? And we're doing this as part of the program, so you're just expanding on it again. What do you use?
Um, I use both a planner and a calendar. So the planner is like a little notebook that I carry around with me everywhere. I bring it to school, so when my teacher like tells me what homework I have, I just write it down. But I also bring it to extracurriculars because sometimes I know in middle school I was in student government and I would write down like little things I needed for student government too in the planner in addition to my homework.
Mhm.
So that helped me manage like my entire life. And then I also have a calendar and I hang it up in my room and it serves as a visual. I don't put everyday homework on that. I just put like big deadlines or like big projects. And then if I see it there, it's like a constant reminder and I know what I need to get done.
So I like what I'm hearing. I think that's so important because our culture in general is very visual. We're always aware of things, whether it's online or in person. So having that calendar up there that you can see as a reminder, but also as a visual what you have to get done really helps.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a planner, do you take the planner with you everywhere you go?
Yeah, I take it with me everywhere I go, whether it's like to school or the extracurriculars that I mentioned.
Okay. And what's the purpose of it? What's the real benefit?
Well, it's not just like organizing my schoolwork, it's like organizing my entire life and everything is in check because it's one thing to have just like your schoolwork organized, but if everything else is a mess, then it doesn't really have any real value. Like you want to have everything together.
Okay. Again, being visual, as we said, it gets everything organized right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's less confusion.
Yeah.
But and I'm going to sum it up with this, and this is broad. How how has it benefited your life? I know you talked about your schoolwork. You're an excellent student. You're very diligent. You want to do your best. But overall, how has time management and really controlling and balancing everything benefited you?
It makes me feel more accomplished, less stressed, and in general, I just feel better about myself. Like it's been really good for my self-esteem.
Wonderfully said. And I'm going to reiterate that to these young adults. If you heard the three key words, less stress, accomplished, which leads to fulfillment, feeling good about yourself with that self-confidence and self-esteem. We're in control of that. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. Corinne, you did a great job. Any words of wisdom for these young adults that you want to, before we sign off?
I think the techniques that we mentioned only work if you're willing to implement them. And not only that, if you get the willingness to implement them when you see the benefits. And I think I'm like a testament to the benefits of this because before time management, I was so disorganized.
So it's actually, and I'm going to sum this up. I know I'm running a little long, young people, but it is about seeing and knowing what you want, keeping your eye on what you want, and getting there. How you manage it. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great job, Corinne. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Be well.
Okay.